Tonight, someone you know is going to die. Not tonight specifically, but someday. And when that happens, you are going to do something deeply strange. You are going to dress the body. You are going to gather people together. You are going to speak words over a hole in the ground. And you will not question any of it. But here is what nobody tells you. The real answer for why you do any of that is far stranger than you think. Your instinct to ritualize death is not a product of religion. It is not a product of culture. It goes so far back into your evolutionary past that it predates language itself. It predates farming. It predates fire pits and cave paintings. The rituals you perform when someone dies are older than civilization by hundreds of thousands of years. In 2015, paleoanthropologist Lee Berger made one of the most stunning discoveries in the history of human origins. Deep inside a cave in South Africa called the Rising Star Cave, his team found a chamber accessible only through an 18-centimeter passage. Inside were bones of at least 15 individuals of a species called Homo naledi, a species with a brain one-third the size of yours. And the evidence strongly suggests they were deliberately placing their dead in that chamber. Homo naledi had a brain the size of an orange, and it was burying its dead. That rewrites everything. We assumed the impulse to treat a body as sacred was a gift of the large human brain. But the impulse arrived before the brain was large enough to explain it, before there was even language to describe what death meant. Evolutionary biologist Barbara King spent decades studying grief in animals. Elephants return to the bones of their dead and touch them gently. Chimpanzees carry deceased infants for days. Crows gather around fallen members of their group. Something about death activates a social response across species, but humans took it further. Humans always took it further. By 100,000 years ago, early humans in what is now Israel were burying their dead with objects. At Kafsa Cave, researchers found a young person buried with deer antlers placed carefully across the body. Someone chose those antlers. Someone placed them. To do that, you have to believe the object matters. That death is not just an ending, but a threshold. A 100,000-year-old human was already thinking that. You inherited that thought. Anthropologist Thomas Laqueur argues this is one of the defining features of being human: the refusal to let the dead simply disappear. Every known human culture in history, without exception, has developed some form of death ritual. The form changes, the religion shifts, but the impulse never does. And it never does because it is not actually about the person who died. It is about you. Grief researcher George Bonanno at Columbia University has shown that ritual is one of the most powerful tools your brain has for processing loss. The act of gathering, the act of speaking, doing something structured in the face of something chaotic. These give the brain a container for an emotion that would otherwise have no edges. Ritual closes the loop. Research consistently shows that the absence of ritual prolongs and deepens grief. The ceremony matters because your brain is 300,000 years old, and it needs it to function. The next time you stand at a graveside, it will feel like something you learned from your parents or your religion. But underneath that, in the oldest part of your brain, something is running a program that predates your species. Something that once carried a body deep into a cave. Something that once placed antlers across someone it loved and did not want to walk away. You are not just mourning a person. You are participating in the oldest human act there is. And tonight, when the thought of losing someone crosses your mind and you push it away, that instinct is ancient too. Your ancestors felt it. And then, when the time came, they gathered anyway.